The 311 Response Center is the main gateway to city services. As small as our population is, we do take a lot of requests. Most cities that have 311 systems, you'll find that more of their calls are question related and don't end up in service requests. Pittsburgh, I believe, is the complete opposite. The majority of our calls are going to end with a service request. Sometimes we'll get one call that will generate 25, 30 different requests.
I really believe that 311 is a great factor, probably in all cities, because if we didn't have it, then the public would probably have a harder time trying to contact these offices just on a personal level, because there's so much. So we do what we can to try to help in between, because sometimes it doesn't always have to go directly to whatever that department is, because if we can help, if we have whatever forms that need to be sent out, then that's one less step that someone has to, one less day that they have to wait for the mail to get their items and things like that. So I guess at the end of the day, as long as they're satisfied, then we've done our job.
Citizens can contact us a variety of ways. We have live operators. We've expanded our hours from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., which is exciting. Different hours, odd hours, feel free to call us and leave a message at 311. It answers 24 hours a day. And then we also have 311 postcards that we'll pass out at community meetings that you can fill out and send in. Those are postage paid. So if you have a group event and need some of those, please feel free to let us know. We also have a Twitter account, and our handle for that is @PGH311. And we can actually process service requests through that handle and send back your service request ID number. Through the years, we've been growing and building, and we're up to 11 staff now. And one of our most exciting endeavors at this point is we're finally getting new software. We're currently using something that was built in-house in the late 1980s, and now we're moving up to a new product. We're in the process of implementing it and hope to have full implementation by this summer or fall. So that's going to make a lot of great improvements to 311, the efficiency of the service we can provide, so we're very excited about that.
Twitter has opened up an opportunity for an entire new process to people who don't normally have an opportunity to reach out to 311. It's fast, it's monitored 24/7, generally replying to people between the hours of 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. It can be challenging at times to respond to a certain person's needs with only 140 characters, but there's a few times where we have to send multiple tweets.
We're making our website more self-service, so people will be able to go in and find the answers to questions they need without having to contact us. It makes it a lot more convenient. We'll be building the knowledge base that goes along with that. For years, updating and putting more information in so that we can try to address everyone's needs.
This is the type of job where you have to have an open mind, have to have compassion, and you have to listen. Because you can easily not understand what someone says, and then it just doesn't end well. So we try to make sure that each person and their concerns, we make them aware that we are very serious about what it is that they're bringing to us, and that we want to help them, and we want to give them that feeling of it's not so much like a machine. I'm a real person when I answer the phone, and let me do what I can to help to assist you.
Julianne Sullivan, now known as the Attitude Enhancer, works with organizations that want to create a workplace environment where people are productive, engaged, and appreciated. She's the founder of Learning Never Ends, a company whose purpose is to create a more positive culture, one person at a time. She has a diverse educational background, which includes a BA in psychology and an MBA in accounting. She was a CPA and spent decades in the financial and corporate world. She's an author and professional member of the National Speakers Association and the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor. She has also been designated as an expert-level certified laughter leader. Julianne's newest book is titled A Little Bit of Gratitude Goes a Long Way. Please help me welcome Julianne Sullivan. A man is walking along a trail. He's not paying attention very well, and he slips off the trail into this abyss, and he grabs on with his fingernails. And he looks below, it's about 200 feet, rocks. Sure death if he lets go. So he looks up above and he screams, "Is anybody up there who can help me?" He waits a moment and he hears this big booming voice from the heavens. And the voice says, "Have faith. I will save you. Let go and I'll catch you before you hit the bottom of the abyss." The man is hanging. It's getting really difficult to hang on. And he looks down at sure death. And he looks back up and yells, "Is there anyone else up there who can help me?" So this afternoon is really about having faith in two areas. Faith in that even though what I am going to share with you in the next hour may seem silly and too simple, have faith that I know it works. And I'm not the only person who knows that. The second part is to have faith in yourself. That you have the power to take these simple tasks and ideas and spread them in your own world. Now, Wendy said I am a part of the Association of Applied and Therapeutic Humor. And yes, there really is an association like that. And we come from the medical field, the education field, the corporate field, and clowns and laughter leaders and laughter yoga leaders, and we all get together and we share research and science about how to be happier in life. There's lots of it. I can't share it all with you today. Of course, you are more than welcome to contact me to get additional information on this subject. But when I came here today, Wendy said, "These people gotta have fun." So I said, "Okay," and then I realized I'm the act after lunch, so I'm supposed to wake you up for the rest of the afternoon. Let me tell you a little bit about the history of the laughter groups. Has anyone ever been to a laughter group or a laughter yoga group before? Okay. Well, it started in India with a man named Dr. Kataria, and he noticed, as probably many of you have, that people who had long-term illnesses, surgeries, when they were in a better mood, when they had a better attitude, they actually got healthier faster. Have you seen that? And we, actually AATH works a lot with the Cancer Centers of America, and they find that it helps people get through their chemotherapy and other therapy regimes that they go through to just laugh a little more. Anyway, Dr. Kataria started everything out as a joke group, but as you can imagine, some jokes offend somebody sometime. So people weren't coming back anymore. So he decided, what if we just laugh like we take walks or whatever we do for exercise or not? And what if we just did that more often and made it a ritual, a habit, a routine of something that we do? Maybe that would help. So he took some yoga exercises and some laughter and put them together, and that was the creation of laughter yoga. The man who certified me as a laughter leader was a man named Steve Wilson, who's a longtime psychologist and runs an organization called the World Laughter Tour Incorporated. Now, the World Laughter Tour, Steve Wilson and the World Laughter Tour decided he really liked what Dr. Kataria was trying to do, but he wanted it to be a bit more structured. So the child of that is what I'm going to present for you today. And we have about 6,000 of us around the world. There's about 2,000 of us active on a Yahoo group. And so we're constantly sharing new and different ideas and research together so that we can continue what we're doing. But you really don't care about that, right? You want to get to it. We have certain values as a certified laughter leader, and those values have to do with this. We don't care where you live, how much money you make, what your sexuality is, what your color is, what your religion is, what your political affiliation is or not. Everybody has the right to laughter. The other thing is that if you don't want to participate, you don't have to. Everybody has a pass. Because what we've found that secondhand laughter is just as good for you as secondhand smoke is detrimental. And if you decide later you want to join in because you see these people are really having a good time, be my guest. That's great. Here's the other thing. You cannot eat while we do this. Because I'm going to be having you get up and sit down and move around. And when people choke while I'm doing this and we have to call an ambulance, it's really bad for my reputation. So eat at your own risk. That includes gum, by the way. Don't make me stick it on your nose. The other thing is nothing's supposed to hurt. So when I say stand up, if you can't stand up, fine. If I tell you to raise your arms up in the air and you got a bad shoulder, fine. No, I'm not going to point you out. You adapt for what you want to do. I have done this workshop from people from 8 to 98. I've done it with people who are in walkers, on oxygen, and the greatest memory I have is a man who was in a motorized wheelchair that couldn't really move any part of his body. He moved it by his breath, and he had a great time. I don't see anyone here having to adapt at that level. So just adapt, whatever's comfortable for you. So you ready to get going? Yeah. All right, I like this crowd already. First of all, in front of you is a handout, which we'll get to later, but there's also another ticket. That is for my raffle. And so does everybody have a ticket? Yes. All right, so hang on to that, because before I leave today, there'll be gifts for you. And for you in the back, I would really like you to move up because we're going to get friendly and like one another. Or fake it. Anyway. I'm going to show you a lot of things in the next whatever time I have. And what I would really like you to do, but never happens, is I would like for you to allow me to describe what I'm going to do, demonstrate what I'm going to do before you do it. But I know there's going to be people out there who just can't help themselves. So I might remind you, wait, because I'll see people doing it anyway. And the first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to teach you about breathing. Because breathing is very underrated. We do it without thinking, but there are some systematic ways to breathe that are better for your body and your mind. Because when you breathe better, you add more oxygen to your brain. When you add more oxygen to your brain, you pay attention and you can focus more and you can bring more information in. You're starting to see the pattern. Little things become big actions. When we breathe today, in this time together, what I want you to do is I want you to watch me. Breathe through your nose and let it out through your mouth. So if you would please all stand up as you're willing and able. Plenty of room up front and I don't bite hard. Okay, so at the count of 3, what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. 1, 2, 3. In and out. Now, as human beings, we tend to let out air a lot quicker than we do breathing in, and that leaves stale air in us, and it also doesn't exercise the bottom of our lungs, which is very important. In fact, when you get pneumonia, this is where it sits down here. I'm not saying it's because you don't breathe correctly, but it doesn't help. So this time when you breathe in, I want you to think of breathing in for 5 counts, and then I want you to breathe out for 5 counts on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. In and out. Now this is a big room. I really can't tell if you're doing it right, so I want you to do it like this time. Watch me. All right, on the count of 3. 1. See if you can put me to sleep. 2, 3. Breathe in and breathe out. Very good. Excellent. Give yourselves a round of applause. All right. Now I'm going to teach you a little chant. Now, once I teach you this chant, I'm not going to have you collect money at the airport. There's going to be no spaceship. I'm not going to make you drink Kool-Aid or any of those things. And if you're under 30, you have no idea what I'm talking about. And that's okay. Ask a neighbor later, and they'll explain it to you, and you'll get to know somebody new. Anyway, this is how we cross-generate. But this chant I'm going to teach you is really to break up the exercises we're going to do, because you guys are going to get so crazy. I'm going to need a way to break it up. And this is how the chant goes. Watch me. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. 3. Ooh, very good. I think you're the first group that ever stopped on 3. Excellent. Maybe it's that 3-1-1, 3-1-1. Anyway, and so now what we're going to do is, we did this for a group of kids. And you know, kids have their own mind, right? So when they did it, they added this ending, and we're going to add it too. So watch me. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Yay! 1, 2, 3. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Yay! Well, you guys are pretty good. Have a seat. So the idea is when you do that chant, I want you to do 2 things. And I really saw most of you doing one of them, but not the second one. The first is I always want you to smile. Did you know if you smile big enough, research shows, to engage your eyes, your brain thinks you're happy, even if you're not. It's true. That's what happens, right? Whatever you put in your brain, that's what comes out in your actions. Whatever you're thinking becomes your ideas, becomes what you say and do and what other people see about you. So even if you're having a crappy day, check yourself out. Put a smile on your face. I challenge you to see how that makes you feel. The next exercise we're going to do is, again, with some breathing, but I'm going to show you while you're sitting down because I think that's easier, and then I'll have you get up again. And by the way, I'm doing that on purpose because sitting is the new cancer. Sitting is the new cancer. It's really the new heart disease. I read, tell them we're having a great time. Yeah, I mean, we just do it. I do it. I sit at my computer all the time when I'm not traveling around and speaking. I am sitting at my computer. I could be there all day. Unfortunately, you can all say "aw" after this. My dog died in December. Aww. Broke my heart. But one of the wonderful things that she did for me is she would nudge me during the day, like, get the heck up and let's go for a walk. And I don't have that anymore, so I have to force myself to do it. And what I do is sooner or later, sometime during the day, I just yell out, I gotta get out of here. Now, I can do that because I live alone. And maybe you can't do that, but you need to remind yourself just to get up, even if you just get up. And sit back down, you still gotta get up. Start thinking about all that stuff that's just doing this. Maybe that'll get you to get up. And so the next exercise we're going to do has to do with some breathing too, and it is called Pop the Balloon. And I ask you to stand, it's going to look like this. You're going to do this. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, stand up. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ha, 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 ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha. Yay! Excellent. Stay standing. The next exercise we're going to do has to do with meeting your neighbor, because I said one of the things, oh, I forgot the second part, is to smile, but the other part is to look at people. We spend way too much time on the telephone and I don't call it a telephone anymore, and texting and emailing, and we're forgetting how to really look at people. So like, we're talking to people and we're doing this instead. And we need to learn, it's a habit. Like everything in life is a habit. If you leave here with nothing else, everything in life is a habit. Say that after me. Everything in life is a habit. And the only way to do a habit is to continually do something. And the only way to continually do something is to recognize it first, which means you have to grow your self-awareness. Now, my expertise is really in happier workplaces, but a lot of what I teach in here is the same I teach in there. You gotta see it to change it. And then you need to practice it to make it a part of your life. Whether it's you're talking about communication skills or team building or how to get through change or a laughter program, it's all the same. It's not that darn complicated. So let's keep it simple. Like whatever happened to KISS? That was such a good acronym. Anyway, so I want you to look at one another. So what we're going to do that, I'm going to use you as my guinea pig. Is that okay? Sure. Oh, great. Shannon. Yay, let's hear it for Shannon. So I'm going to get you later then. Thank you for that. In a good way. What we're going to do is you're going to move around to people behind you, in front of you, beside you, and you're going to grab their hand, and we use the word aloha. Why? Because it ends in "ah." And you're going to do this. I'm going to first go, aloha. And then Shannon's going to go, aloha. Very good, because aloha means hello, goodbye, peace, and about 500 other words. So go ahead and start that, and then when I'm ready for you to end, you are going to hear this sound. And when you hear that, we're going to do the chant. You with me? Okay, on the count, are you with me? Yes! On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3, make new friends. Breathe out. Have a seat. Go ahead and have a seat. Okay. Now I ho! Ho, 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 ho! Ho! Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha! Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha! Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha! Yay! So much fun. Is everybody having fun yet? Okay, good. All right, I need 2 volunteers. Come on up. 1 more, come on. Yay! I need the microphone. Thank you. All right, great. Hi.
Hi.
Charles. And Jennifer. Nice. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we are going to have Charles give us his best laugh ever. And then you all are going to stand up when I tell you and laugh like Charles. You ready? Okay. Charles, go for it. Excellent. Everybody stand up. And laugh like Charles. Excellent. Thank you. Yay, Charles. Can I have a seat? All right. Now we have Jennifer. You can, sit, stand. I don't care what you do. I mean, I care. Okay, you ready? Give us your best laugh ever. Whatever it is, it'll be perfect, okay? Know that. Go. Excellent. Now let's all laugh like Jennifer. Very good. Thanks for being a good sport. All right. The next exercise I'm going to have you do, I'm going to show you first. It's called the key. The next time your son or daughter, anybody here have a child? Anybody here ever seen a child? Okay. Inclusion, right? We want to be inclusive. So the next time they're bugging you, there are certain things you can do in life. I remember one day my teenage boy, he's not a teenager anymore, was doing one of these. Mom, just driving me insane. So I walked into his room and I went, boo! He never bothered me for the rest of the day. It's the simple things that work really well. But the next exercise is something you can try within your house if people in your house drive you insane. Just stand in a room and do this and see what happens. I'm going to have you stand and you're going to stick your key in your belly button. Imaginary key. Nobody take out their keys. I got to be so literal. And you're going to do this. We're going to wind it up and then we're going to let it go. So it's going to look like this. Ha, 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 ha. And we're going to do that for ha, he, and ho. Stand up. All right, breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Stick your key in your belly button and let's start at the count of 3. 6 and then we let it go. 1, 2, 3. Ha, 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 ha. Let it go. Ha, he. Let it go. He. Ho. Ho, 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 ho. Let it go. Ho, 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 ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Yay! Excellent. Have a seat. All right. I know some of you out there are saying, where's the substance?
What are you drinking?
I hate when that happens. It is bottled water from the hotel, so what's in it, is, I don't know what they gave me, but I did, anyway. Thanks for asking. The handout that you have in front of you. I'm all about gifts. I love gifts. So the first thing I want you to do is, see, I've had this scored. I want you to rip off the bottom. We'll save that. This part here is for you, and it has two parts. One of the things I am sure about is that we all need reminders. Nobody in this room can get it right all the time without reminders, unless you're a robot. I must have 100 items around my house that remind me of the person I want to be. I do research and study and write about happier workplaces and how to be more productive and how to be more positive and how to be more efficient and effective and kinder to people and communicate better and laugh. But I still need reminders. I have pity parties just like you. I just don't stay in them very long because I have the knowledge that I live in abundance. Everybody in this room lives in abundance. And I'll talk a little more about that when we get to gratitude. So the first handout I have for you, get it, hang it up somewhere, is about good-hearted living. And Steve Wilson, who came up with the World Laughter Tour, decided there has to be something more than these workshops. We go to these programs, we feel so good, and then what? What do we have to take with us that we can practice? And that's what good-hearted living is about. So Mondays are for compliments. There's two sides to compliments. One is to give them. How many times of the day do you see somebody and you like their scarf, their hair, their hat, their shoes, their necklace, their tie, whatever, and you don't say anything? Why not? You have no idea what kind of impact you have on someone. You know, either you or the people that work with you that are on the phone, you know the tone of their voice, the words they use mean so much. Somebody can walk out of their house in the morning and feel invisible. And I won't ask you to raise your hands, but I know I have felt invisible some days. That's the day when somebody says to me, wow, you look really nice today. It means this much. Now the other side of compliments is what you do with them. And unfortunately, many of us negate them. Oh, your hair looks nice. Oh no, I need a haircut. That's not nice. When you think about it, you're saying, oh, don't give me a compliment. That's, you know, you're just kind of pushing it back on that person. We all need to learn to say, thank you. Yeah, and that's it. People don't want to hear a story. They don't want to hear, oh no, I need a haircut. You know, I tried to get an appointment, but my hairstylist is out of town, and so I had to wait. No, people will never give you a compliment again. And it's really fun to give compliments to strangers and walking down the hall, walking down the street, in an elevator. You don't have to get to know what difference you make. Just know you do. Most of the times when I give compliments, it's amazing. People will just beam. And maybe they went there that day. Compliments. Mondays are for compliments. And for all of you analyzers out there, people who dreamed of being engineers, you can give a compliment on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Also. Gotta throw it out there because somebody will say, oh, can I give you a compliment? It's Thursday. Okay. We have that straight? This is true for all of them. Okay, Tuesdays are for flexibility. Now, I gotta tell you, I needed a different kind of goal. So I just made a goal to run a 5K July 4th. Yay! I have never run in my life. But anyway, and would you believe, I'm going, how am I going to train for that? There's an app for that. It's called Couch to 5K. It's amazing. And I just figured out how I get Pandora to run while I'm doing that, so I use it too. Fabulous. Anyway, the But the reason I mention that is one of my favorite stretches is this. But that's not the kind of flexibility I'm talking about. I'm talking about the flexibility of your soul. And one of the things that I really press when I do programs on finding opportunity and change is this flexibility issue. How many people here have ever had an entire day go according to plan? Only once did someone raise their hand, and I'm pretty sure they needed a little attention. It doesn't happen. We don't live in a bubble. So the more flexibility, again, to training your brain. You know, science has found out that you can train your brain till the day you die. I just read an article that said people age better, that 70% of what we do in our life, our attitude towards life, tells us how we're going to age. It's only 30% genetics. It's 70% attitude, therefore attitude enhancer. It's very important that we do that. So flexibility is a part of that. So how can you train yourself to be more flexible? If you drive to work the same way every day, drive a different way. Ooh, yeah. Because if you live in Pittsburgh and the sun's out, there's going to be a detour, right? And so instead of going, oh my God, there's a detour, how do I get there? You will already know because you already practiced. They said for some people, they just tell them to write their name with their non-dominant hand every day, just to teach your brain you can do it. And what happens is when you come up to something else in life where you need to be flexible, you're not so freaked out about it. You're like, oh, okay. I was telling somebody today, when we were, it was your husband, Wendy, and we were trying to do this, get this microphone working, and I said I have a great handyman, and we were trying to get my window locked for the winter, and he had this great saying I'm going to pass on to you. I'm smarter than a window. And so every time something happens and it's difficult and it's not life-altering, I just say, like I was trying to get a key on a ring the other day, and I said out loud, again, I live alone, I just said out loud, I'm smarter than a key ring. And it kind of lets you know where you are in the universe. So talking to yourself is good. You have to convince yourself that you're flexible. So try that flexibility. Now, Wednesdays are for gratitude. And gratitude is my favorite day of the week, but I practice it 24 hours a day. I taught laughter to thousands and thousands of people. Went through a very, very dark, dismal, depressive, horrible time in my life, if you get the picture. It was bad. And I finally let gratitude find me, and now I'm just a gratitude freak. I have this initiative where I wear these buttons, I sell them for $1, and I give the $1 back to charity. I wrote a book, A Little Bit of Gratitude Goes a Long Way, which one of them I'm going to raffle off today. And the book is written where I talk about something a little off the beaten path about gratitude, and then I give the reader an opportunity to do an exercise. So every time I do something like this, I randomly open it to a page and share it with you. So today is, I am thankful for trees. Their shade cools my home and gives me refuge from the elements. Their roots stop the earth from moving in a destructive way. Their leaves, although they may be plentiful, give me work to do, time to share, and the ability to create a pile to jump in. And the exercise on this particular one is the beauty of trees changes with the seasons. You can witness birth in the spring, shade in the summer, color in the fall, and the beauty of nakedness in the winter. What's going on in your world? Write about what the trees are doing in your neighborhood today. There's a lot of things that we can do to be grateful for. Think. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to think about something you've been grateful for today. Just put it in your head. How many people thought of being alive? That's what happens. Not very many people think of that. And I don't think you're ungrateful, because I think being ungrateful is a negative feeling, and I don't think you're like that. What I think is we don't think. And so every morning before I even get out of bed, as soon as I come into consciousness, inside my body, I'm doing this. Because I got another day. There's thousands, probably tens of thousands of people out there who thought they were going to get another day, and they didn't. So if you start your day knowing how blessed you are for having another day, that changes the rest of your day. Then I make a mental list, again, before I ever get out of bed. I have a bed. I have pillows. I have sheets. I have blankets. I have electricity. I have running water. Billions of people do not have good water. I have indoor plumbing. Whoop! And I like it. I have a refrigerator and there's food in it. I have a car to get here today and it had gas in it. All these things, if you think about that before you ever start your day, your intention, which is part of my trifecta of success for happier workplaces, it starts out with your intention, how you envision your day. You try that tomorrow and see how your day is different. So I have an acronym for gratitude, and that's the other part, and you can tear it off later and use it as a bookmark. I could talk to you all day about gratitude, but I got more to share. Thursdays are for kindness. There is no little act that's too nice, that's too small for kindness. But I'm going to share a story with you. A woman wrote a book about an experience in her life where she decided she'd had it. She wanted to commit suicide. She just couldn't do it. She just couldn't. She was going to tie rocks on her ankles, and she was going to go to her lake, and she was going to walk in and drown. She's done. She waited. It was a moonless night. She waited. She walked down to the lake, and on her way to the lake, she saw a barrier. She never noticed that before. And as she got closer, she realized that an astronomy group had lined up all their telescopes near the lake on this moonless night to look at the stars. And as she approached, one of the enthusiasts grabbed her and said, "Wow, look at this. I have this on Jupiter. It's so cool." And she looked through, and it was amazing. And then he showed her some other star. And she decided right then that she was going to continue life. And what she wrote was, "I was saved by an enthusiast." Now that person didn't know they did that, but sometimes the littlest thing we do can really make a difference in someone's life. Now today, our act all together of kindness is going to be that we're going to sing happy birthday to Shannon. Come on, Shannon. I'll do that too. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Happy birthday, dear Shannon. Happy birthday to you. Let's hear it. Shannon, you make sure I get your card and I will mail you a book. Okay? And then I'll send you, no. You'll get an email every Tuesday at 4 o'clock. I don't do that. I don't do that. Okay, so that's kindness. Fridays are for forgiveness. And I have a little quote here. Actually, I forgot to tell you, and I'm going to add this. This morning, because people know I'm a gratitude freak, this is what I got in the mail from a friend of mine. She said, "Did you see this?" And it's by a woman named Melody Beattie, and it says, "Gratitude unlocks the fullness of life. It turns what we have into enough and more. It turns denial into acceptance, chaos to order, confusion to clarity. It can turn a meal into a feast, a house into a home, a stranger into a friend. Gratitude makes sense of our past, brings peace for today, and creates a vision for tomorrow. In your workplace, and I have seen this make huge differences, make a gratitude wall. Have people take Post-its and just post up what they're grateful for. Even if people don't participate, they still walk by, and it might remind them, oh yeah, I do love my dog or the baby or whatever it is. Could be a sports team one. Life doesn't have to be these great, big, huge events to make a difference. We get too much of that from media that it needs to be that way. It doesn't. It can be really simple. They just grow upon each other. Fridays are for forgiveness. So I really like this quote by Mark Twain. So just close your eyes for a minute and think about this. Anger is an acid that can do more harm to the vessel in which it is stored than anything on which it is poured. Forgiveness is really a gift to yourself. Unfortunately, many of us have combined the word forgiveness with agreement, and they have nothing to do with each other. Forgiveness is about acceptance. And there's no real do-over. You can't really change time. There's lots of movies about going back in time and changing things, but as far as I know, that hasn't happened yet. So to be acceptive of what's happened in the past is really what forgiveness is all about. So remember that when you're carrying around. It's a heavy, heavy, heavy burden, and it is not good for your mind, your body, physically, or your soul. And the weekends? Well, the weekends are for chocolate. Woo! Now on my refrigerator, I have a magnet, and it says, how many calories are in a piece of chocolate? And underneath it says, who cares? And if you don't like chocolate, that's fine. The idea is take care of yourself. That is really, as much as we would like, not anyone else's responsibility. And if you take care of yourself, whatever that means, it might be chocolate, it might be taking a walk, it might be playing with your kid, it might be going to a movie, it might be training for a 5K, whatever it is doesn't really matter. Because when you take care of you, you are a better person for everyone around you. Your family, your friends, your coworkers, they can't really help until you help yourself. So please, please remember to do things for you. So that's good-hearted living. That should give you many ideas to go out and use in your world. And now, back to fun. You ready? All right, everybody stand up. Oh, it's over here. All right, breathe in. And breathe out. Oh, very good. All right, what I want you to do now is I want you to turn to your neighbor, and let's not make this difficult. If there's 3 of you, that's okay too. And all I want you to do is to talk gibberish. Is there anybody here who doesn't know how to talk gibberish? Raise your hand. This is what gibberish sounds like. Okay? Okay, on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Yay! All right, while I have you standing, I want to teach you a very important exercise. It's called silent laughter. It's for those times when you're at work, or for me, family gatherings. We all have that one relative, all of us, that you know, when you really feel like you want to go up to someone and put your hands around their neck, which we know is not the right thing to do. Go find yourself a bathroom stall or a bathroom you can close the door and do something like this. All right, get it out. On the count of 3, let me see your best silent laughter. 1, 2, 3. Really feel it. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Ho, ho, ha, ha, ha. Yay! Breathe in. Breathe out. Have a seat. All right, the next exercise we're going to do is one of those things to train our brain. Because we need to be able to tell ourselves that we can flip from one to the other. Once I did one of these programs, and I had a man and his daughter come up to me. He had lost his wife and her mother 6 months before. And they were deep in grief. I didn't know what the details were, but they were still really deep in grief. And they said that coming to the program gave them such a wonderful outlet just for 1 hour. It wasn't going to bring her back, but at least it gave them a little release. So that's what this exercise is about. Again, telling your brain, telling yourself that you can flip it from one side to the other. So we're going to be laughing and crying. And what I want you to do is I want you to really feel it, both emotions. And then I'm going to clap my hands and you'll switch to the other. So it'll look something like this. And that's what it's going to look like. Except you'll look different than me. All right, obviously you see I've had practice in both. And all of us have. So on the count of 3, I want you to start with a cry. 1, 2, 3. Favorites, it's the wave. So right down here, you're 1. At 1s, raise your hand. You're a 1. You're 2s, all the way to here. All the 2s, raise your hand. And you're all 3s, right? Let me hear it from the 1s. Say hi. Hi. 2s. Hi. 3s. Hi. Oh, yeah. Okay, so how this works is you're going to get up, push your chairs back so that you can stand up when I tell you. But you sit down, but just make sure that you can get up and down. I'm sorry, I was not clear. Push your chair back so you can get up and down without hitting your knee. That's the idea. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over here and move over here and point over here, and I want you to do a wave. So basically I want you to stand up and go, ha, and then sit down, and then the second and the third, and we'll go through it and get faster and faster. And don't forget to do 2 things while you do this. What is that? Smile and breathe. Look at the people around you. Okay? Breathing is good too, though. Don't get me wrong. On the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Where's the noise? Yay! Breathe in. Okay, before we do the raffle, I've got an exercise for you that if you do this 1 morning a week, 2 mornings a week, 3 mornings a week, all the way up to 7, I'm not going to ask you to do it every day because that would be like me asking you to fail. Because we don't do things like that as human beings. We got to move into them slowly. But if you do this even every once in a while, especially when you're at conferences, oh, I know what that's like. When I go to the National Speakers Association, we start at 7:30 and we go till 10 o'clock day after day. I was in a laughter breakout session about using laughter in speaking and falling asleep on the 3rd day. That was sad. I had to leave. So I know what that's like. So this is a really good energizer to do in the morning. Now, does anybody here know anything about tapping and how good that is for you? So there's all kinds of science about tapping on certain parts of your body and how it stimulates energy centers in your body. So part of this exercise has to do with tapping. It has, yeah, that works too. I like that. I'm going to use that. Thank you. Anyway, so it's 3 parts. I'm going to explain the whole thing and then we'll all get up and do it together and then we'll give stuff away. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing we're going to do is, so just watch. We're going to tap our bellies, we're going to tap our hearts, and we're going to raise our hands up in the air. When we tap our bellies, we're going to go ha, 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 8 times. When we tap, I lied. When we tap our bellies, not on purpose, we're going to go ho, 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 duh, like Santa, right? Ho, ho. When we tap our hearts, we're going to go ha, 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 8 times. And when we put our arms up in the air, we're going to go he, 8 times. Now, one more step. I know you can do this. The first time we do it, we're going to whisper so you can hardly hear us do it. So the first time it'll look like this. Ho, 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 ho. The second time we're going to do it in a normal voice. Ho, ha, 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 ha. Where am I? Ha, 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 ha. And the third time that we do all 3, it's going to look and sound like this. Hey, 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 as loud as you possibly can. So we're going to do all 3 in all different voices, 8 times for each spot, and some of you are completely glazed, but I know you're going to be able to do this. So stand up. I think, let's see, is this chair good? All right. Okay, so we're going to breathe in and breathe out, because this does take a lot of energy. And on the count of 3, we're going to begin with a whisper. Put your hands on your belly, because it's different for everyone. And we're going to start at the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Ho, 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 ha, 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 ha. Slow down a little bit. Ha. He, 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 he. Big finale. Ho, 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 ho. Ha, 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 ha. He, 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 he. Ho, ho, ha, ha. Breathe out with a sigh. Ah, have a seat. Okay. The bottom of your tarot is an opportunity to receive the attitude enhancing news and get more of me. I should probably rephrase that. What the hell. Anyway, if you'd like to fill that out while I'm doing the raffle, if you would send it down the middle, because I don't want to disrupt the next speaker. And do that. And meanwhile, I will do this. And after the raffle, we have one more piece we're going to do, and then And then, oh, first of all, what company is this? QSIN. See, you know all about fun in the workplace. Good for you. And I took one, so thank you. I also want to tell you something else. I have a friend of mine, he's a laughter yoga leader, and when he's in traffic, he keeps a red nose in his car. And he decides that when he's in traffic, that's his thing, and he wears his red nose, that he can't be irritated, and then people around him can't either. So May 21st, NBC, like they have a new idea. It's Red Nose Day. So I challenge you to go get yourself a red nose at the dollar store and wear it sometime during the day. Walgreens, yeah. They're giving something more. Okay, so here we go. This is my friend. And I'm going to give him away. If you press him and he laughs, you cannot do this for the next speaker. Oh, for the next speaker, but not the one after that. Okay, let's not be rude. But anyway, and then you squeeze it again and it will shut off. By the way, if anyone needs some really good videos, contact me and I will, but I'm going to tell you a few right now. Laughing quads. 4 babies laughing on a mother's stomach. There's no way you can be sad and watch that. And the other one of my favorites is Laurel and Hardy dancing to Santana. Just look that up on YouTube. You'll love it, I promise. And one more thing. If anything today you take out into your life and it makes a difference, please let me know because I love to know about this stuff. Okay, as I read off the numbers, if you have that number, I want you to go yes. Okay? 7.
Yes.
That's the only people who have 7? I don't think so. 7.
Yes.
7. Then I'm beginning over again. 7.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
9.
Yes.
9.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Yay! Okay. One more copy of my book, but you're going to give me your card, right? That's separate from this. Okay. You ready?
Yes.
7.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
1.
Yes.
6.
Woo!
All right. It's in the back. I'll bring it to you. That's great. Okay, to end our day together, I am going to make a statement, and I want your answer to be yes. So try that with me. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
Try it again. 1, 2, 3.
Yes.
All right. I will be happier tomorrow than I am today.
Yes.
I will be healthier tomorrow than I am today.
Yes.
I'm going to laugh more tomorrow than I did today.
Yes.
Thank you so much for being here. Spread good cheer. It makes a difference.